Hey y'all, I'm Courtney.
And I'm Sarah.
And this is Bad Boys-a-thon,
The podcast where we read all the books we used to steal off our grandmother's nightstands.
and then we drink about it.
On this episode, we read Dreaming of You by Lisa Kleypas. There's no real trigger warnings in this. This book feels really modern, but it does have like a mean mother-in-law. It has an evil blonde. It has a childhood so abject that it went right past Chimney Sweep and into Resurrection Man.
Oh, girl, it started with Chimney Sweep. That was the gateway. That was the gateway occupation. We do have a thwarted sexual assault, but it's so innocuous that Sarah and I both forgot it until literally just this minute.
If you can read any historic romance, you can read this one. It is not, there's nothing in it that...
Proceed with non-caution because this book is a little bit bonkers and fun. So buckle up as we talk about Dreaming of You, a book that starts the dream off with the murder of a man and ends with shooting a bitch.
Yeah, so this is our second in our February 90s emo boy extravaganza, where we're afraid that you're going to fucking shoot our bitch asses because we know how you feel about Derek Craven.
Yes, Derek Craven would never listen to this podcast.
Oh, absolutely not, because Derek Craven is a shriveled hunk of a soul.
He is too busy making money and fucking bitches. So, I mean, who's got it better, us or Derek Craven? So before we get started, I want to talk about the wine that I got from my favorite. I'm a regular at a restaurant. It's a little local restaurant.
I mean, me too, but like, I don't admit though.
They know my name. They know my order. A Greek salad. It is Pita's in Columbia, South Carolina. And I went in last night as my daughter was at Anime Club. And I was like, hey, you guys are selling the wine. So I got a bottle of Alverdi Cabernet. I'm guessing it's like Mediterranean adjacent because it's being sold in a Greek restaurant, but who knows? But if you're ever in Columbia, you should go to Pita's. I love it.
Yeah, there's a couple of restaurants in town where they don't know me, but they're like, oh, is that your little boy? We haven't seen him since he was little. And I'm like, yes.
They just tell me now, they're like, oh, the Greek salad with sada tzatziki and some chicken. I'm like, I feel so special. Maybe it means I'm just, spending too much money.
Probably. When I was a kid, we used to cut school and go to Richland Fashion Mall.
Oh, it's the best mall.
Yeah, the best mall.
Neon. Shades of neon.
The people at the Chinese restaurant in the food court, when they saw us coming, they wouldn't even ask us. They would just make me some egg drop soup and an egg roll.
I love that for you.
It was...
They're
in a good place now.
Conversely, my husband's brother, when he was growing up, there was a candy store nearby, and I don't know if this is correct information at all, but the candy store owner refused to sell my brother-in-law candy with red dye number or whatever, because he was like, I've heard that you're not supposed to have this. So, can you imagine having we're not supposed to sell you things? Maybe that's what I need is when I walk in and be like, you cannot have fries.
Not for you, ma'am.
You cannot have fries. You've had how many fries this week?
One of these days at Morganelli's, they're going to be like,
no, you're done.
No longer serving you.
Anyway, back on track.
Back on track. So our previous February episode, we did Lord of Scoundrels, which is a huge favorite of people on Twitter and Reddit and all the kind of little romance landia alleys. And we found him, Sebastian Dane, extremely emo. I think I liked him a bit better than Courtney did. But so now we're tackling your real, your true, your OG fave, Derek Craven. And I was afraid that we were going to hate him because I don't think we're ready for that smoke.
No, yeah. So Derek Craven, again, I love the Derek Craven would never meme. But it is really interesting, and this is something we're going to address in... Do you want to do this now? Do we want to talk about how the shift?
Yeah, let's just do it because I'm going to just want to. So, all right, we originally set up as kind of the hard limit to this podcast. We were not going to read books after 1990. And we've kind of we've broken it a couple times for books we found interesting. But then reading these two, we were entirely right because these two feel so modern.
Yes.
That they're not really within the thesis of this podcast, is that we were reading these books when we were young and getting the entire wrong, Joanna Lindsay idea about relationships. Yeah. At some point in the 90s, there is obviously a giant shift in how these books are written and what they feel like. And these books feel modern, but yet we read, for example, Sweet Liar by Jude Devereaux, and was in the mid-90s also.
Yeah, I think it was just a year before this one.
And it feels fucking cocaine bonkers.
Yeah.
But it does not feel anywhere near as modern. Like this book feels like it was written yesterday.
Yeah. There's a lot of like just really interesting things happening with with our heroines and their competency levels and stuff. So this is going to be a fun one. So Lisa Kleypas, full disclosure, she is somebody that I have read. I devoured, like the early aughts. I was devouring this woman's books. I have, all the Wallflowers. I have all of, like, every one of her series.
I've read a couple of them. I know I read at least the first Wallflower and something else, but I'm not sure.
I adore her so much.
For some reason, she has the most banal titles to these books, so it is impossible for me to tell you which books of hers I've read.
Yeah.
Because, like, Dreaming of You, have I read that? I don't fucking know. We've probably read 6 books called Dreaming of You.
That's very true. We have read a Dreams. We have read.
Oh, my God. But that one was insane. So
yeah. So let's talk about, Lisa. Lisa, who is an icon. She was born in Texas. She began writing her own romance novels during her summer breaks from studying political science at Wellesley.
Oh, another Wellesley girl. We've read some Wellesley girls.
Her parents agreed to support her for a few months after graduation so that she could finish her latest manuscript. And then 2 months later, at age 21, she sold her first novel. The same year, this year, this is amazing. The same year that she sold the novel, she was named Miss Massachusetts.
What?
Yeah, during her competition in the Miss America pageant, she performed a song that she had written, which earned her the title, this is amazing, this is what I want everyone to call me, Talented Non-Finalist Award. So she
I would be proud.
She is a talented non-finalist. So she basically, like, from the jump, she was a full-time romance writer since 1985. Her books have ranked high on major bestsellers lists, and if you guys read romance at all, you know her. And I think she's kind of amazing. I kind of love her. Like, I think, again, she's one of the more formative, she really helped define for me that shift that Sarah was saying, going and seeing, like, competent female leads who are doing things and,
Not that the previous ones don't have. Like,
no, but
there's a different feel to it. And I think maybe part of it might be the embrace of ahistoricality.
Right, when people aren't so focused on trying
I don't give a fucking shit about the Regency, I mean, like, just do the things I want to do.
It's like they all mess it up anyway, so why not just, like,
make it the thing I want it to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, Jane Austen would shit her pants. And I mean, like, that's not, I love Jane Austen, don't get me wrong. But, like, this is the point where they're like, fuck it, we're not trying, and it's okay. It's like a fantasy.
You read her, and then you definitely see where, Sarah McLean and Tessa Dare and Courtney Milan, like, this is the person that really impacted them.
Whereas I think like authors like Beverly Jenkins comes to mind are like a different branch on the family tree because they're approaching his historical accuracy in a completely different way.
Right.
Like what authors like Beverly Jenkins are doing is being extremely accurate, but finding history that's not like
often
like it's not like Pride and Prejudice retreaded every time. So they're doing accurate stuff over here. Like that you haven't read before, whereas like people like Sarah McLean and Tessa Dare and all are doing utterly inaccurate thing you're super familiar with,
right? So
but
they also I think what they all do is I think what Sarah and calling them like I know them, Tessa and Courtney do is they take really hyper accurate aspects, like things that are really really true and that are deep cut history information.
Like they'll pick a thing. Yeah. Like this one, it's Gambling House, I think.
Yeah.
And, just the idea of the lady authoress, like the Jane Austen character. I'm sure that this started off with like, what if Jane Austen went and met a really fucking fun dude? Okay. Yeah. Like what if she didn't die of whatever like crappy fucking
sadness and bonnet fever.
Yeah. What if she went and had a really fucking good time?
Yeah.
So it's like that. But like, it's utterly ahistorical, but there's like a chunk of it that's it's like, hey, I read this really fun fucking book about like gambling hells.
Yeah.
You know?
Or I'm going to give you things that you maybe have never heard of that actually happened in history and put them in wild like situations. Hence the Resurrectionist. So let's go ahead. You've got do you have our cover?
Okay, so I was looking. I read this on Kindle from. I thought I was getting it from the library. It turns out I had bought this some time ago. I never read it on Kindle. But it has one of those like clearance racket David's bridals covers that they do these days, which is boring and crappy. It's not the worst one.
But I also think it's interesting that it's basically the archetype for how the covers are. You know what I mean?
So I'm not sure if which cover is original and which one isn't. It looks enough like Secrets of a Summer Night that might be the OG cover. But looking at Goodreads, the international covers are so fucking insane that I'm gonna do I'll put them in the show notes for this, because there's some crazy like really OG like Joanna Lindsay style clinch covers for this book, which is great. But like, yeah, the one that it actually popped up on for me, on Libby, or whatever it was just, it just sucked. It wasn't very good. But I do have some back cover copy that, even though I did not have a true back cover. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
When shy and secluded author Sara, by the way, spelled the way I spell Sarah, so thank you, Fielding ventures from her country cottage to research a novel, she inadvertently witnesses a crime in progress and manages to save the life of the most dangerous man in London. Derek Craven is a powerful and near legendary... How are you near legendary? Anyway, gambling club owner who was born a bastard and raised in the streets. His reputation is unsavory, his scruples non-existent, but Sara senses that beneath Derek's cynical exterior, he is capable of a love more passionate than her deepest fantasies. Aware that he is the last man that an innocent young woman should ever want, Derek is determined to protect Sara from himself, no matter what it takes. But in a world where secrets lurk behind every shadow, he is the only man who can keep her safe. And as Derek and Sara surrender to an attraction too powerful to deny, a peril surfaces from his dark past to threaten their happiness and perhaps even their lives. Together, they will discover if love is enough to make dreams come true.
I don't love the back.
I don't like
but this book was like, it's not well served by the back copy.
No.
But so it is like, this book is super fun. So it starts with Sara. Sara is a established author. She has written a bestseller. Like, she's written a book that has gone gangbusters all throughout Britain called Matilda. And it is it's a fictionalized, she has gone.
Is it Pamela? Is that what this is?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's Pamela.
So she has gone and researched sex workers, and she has created this fictionalized account of one sex worker. And the book just like, it has taken over.
And it
everything.
has an ambiguous ending where you can't tell if Matilda is going to throw herself over a bridge or change her life.
Yeah,
it's like that, and so everybody's talking about it, and like it's everything. But of course, she's written it under. A author.
Yeah, she did So
a lady,
And she's from this little like tiny town called Greenwood Corners or something adorable like that. Yeah. And she's just very got her glasses. She's always on the move, but
she's also got that naivety that's gonna get her fucking killed, and like.
But then I felt like
how dumb she is.
I felt like that was true, but then again, this on page 5, Sara, again, of Greenwood Corners, in her glasses, who you feel like is super, super naive, kills a man.
Yeah, well, she's just trying not to.
She pulls like she's prowling around. Her next book is going to be on gaming house, and so she's prowling around. She's going to go to Derek Craven's very, very elaborate, like super high exclusive club, and so she's walking around.
She's in the rookery. She's in like the slums, in the ghetto.
In the ghetto. So she sees this man being attacked. And he's getting his face all cut up, and she's like, well, I have to stop this. And so
excuse me.
She's like, please, sir, stop. And they're like, get out of here, shorty. And she's like, fine. And she pulls out a gun, and she says that she aims to not hit them, and then immediately hits and kills one of them.
Well, I mean, how accurate is this gun? This like lady gun that she's pulling out of her purse.
Her little bag. It was great. So like, on page 5, she has killed a guy. And the guy who is getting his face all cut up and beat up on is none other than Derek Craven. So all 6 foot, however, 10, whatever, what insane, they always make these guys like giant, is all like bleeding out, like his face is all cut up, and she's just shot and killed a man. And
she's not that fussed about the shot and kill the man part.
No, she does. She does get upset later.
She's a little upset, but she's not like, if I shot and killed somebody, I would be a lot more upset.
Well,
than she is.
yeah. So
a lot goes on at once. So, she's a little overwhelmed.
She's essentially like, after she has killed one man, like, what is great about this is that Derek Craven is the damsel in distress on page 1. So where are we going? After she shoots the man and like threatens the other guy, she's like, "I'll do that to you too." And he's like, "I gotta go." She
can't tell how bad it is. I mean, his face is like
she is carrying Derek Craven, not like bridal style, but she is carrying this man to his gaming club.
Now she is she's coded as quite small in this, but not the kind of like wee willy winky kind of business in that last book of Jessica. Like she's just, I think, normal small.
I think what's interesting about this is that where we used to get very specifics, and this goes into that shift, where we used to get very like, so-and-so was 5'10" and she weighed 113 pounds and she was a size 2. Now we're starting to get more, well, she's small and average build.
Yeah. Like, she's got that chestnut hair and she wears glasses.
Yeah. Like that's basically it's really letting the reader insert who they want to see in there, what type of person they want to see in there. There's a lot of places for interpretation.
Yeah, for sure. Like you always know what color somebody's eyes are. There's, how many people do you know in real life who if I were to say, okay, they're not here, what color are my husband's eyes, Courtney?
I don't know your husband's eyes.
I know, because you see people.
Hazel, I don't know.
Yeah, they're blue, but you see people all the time, and you don't be like, he has black hair, blue eyes. He is 6'4.5". He has,
Yeah, no.
No, you don't like catalog that shit about people. You certainly don't pick a gemstone.
She feels very she feels not insanely. We don't hear ad nauseum about her
tininess,
her like ethereal,
like they'll say like small waist or whatever, but it's not as constant on her
physical,
her in physicality, like her waifness, her insubstantiality, and his coarseness and his like whatever. And again, like bringing this back to what we talked about last time, is that these guys are the spiritual heirs of Edward Rochester. Right? Yeah. So they're ugly in that way where you can't tell if they're ugly or not.
They're just hot and dark.
Yeah, they're just like, they got a tan and maybe a big nose. I don't know. But so this guy for sure has a facial scar because we see him get it. So, there's that.
He does get cut up. So they get to his gambling hall.
And she's all like, ooh. And then like, okay, this is where you realize like, okay, forget the ahistorical sister. I don't know how to say this. Forget how ahistorical this is to start with. Once she walks in this guy's bedroom, okay, you see the kind of the book this is. This is the kind of the book where we can throw out the idea of anybody being ruined because,
Yeah, nobody's getting ruined.
Yeah, it's done. Okay, which is kind of good. You're like, okay, if they bring that back up, that's bad storytelling. If they don't bring it back up, fine. It's just not that kind of book. We can move forward.
Yeah. So she gets him to the place. She gets him basically in his bedroom. His right-hand man, Worthy, shows up. Worthy has the biggest dick energy in this whole book.
Yes.
He's so hyper confident. He immediately is like, "Thank you very much. How can I repay you?" And she's like, "Well, I'm writing a book. You might know me from my book, Matilda." And he's like, "How's that bitch doing?"
There's this thing going through this book, and I know it's supposed to be funny, but maybe I'm just like a little reflexively like defensive of people in the past because people think that people in the past are stupid, but like this is just a joke. I know it's just a joke, but that they all think that Matilda's real. And like, where is she? Is she here? Do you know her? Does she talk to you?
I don't have a problem with it because I like that it addresses anyway. So what happens is all of the people that she really kind of deals with, especially the people who are like working and in the gaming hell, think Matilda is a real person. And I think what it goes into show is that these people who are not people of leisure are not reading as much like highly stylized fiction. So I think that is an interesting, like, no, is it expertly done? Maybe not, but I think it is this interesting thing, like, of how people And this is not an like this actually happened.
Oh yeah, there's certainly like, examples of, you were going to talk about captive narratives, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Worthy brings her in.
Yes.
And then she says, my next novel is going to take place in a gaming hell. A woman is going to fall in a gaming hell. So I need to learn everything that I can learn about a gaming hell. So yeah, I would really appreciate if you would let me talk to staff and let me see what happens. And I understand the need for discretion and all, but I want to learn about this gaming hell. And Worthy is one of those dudes that you can't face for long. He's like, I thought I would just call you a carriage, but, okay. Like, sure. If that's what you really want.
Yeah, he's like, fine, I'll set up. And she's like, well, as I was essentially carrying Mr. Craven in my arms, like he was a dying baby, he was like, stay away from here. And he's like, I will deal with him. Don't you worry about it.
Meanwhile, she's watching like Derek Craven's like naked chest like shamble and shit,
As he's getting
she's beyond ruined. Like,
she's so fun because he's like, Craven is like one of those he's like, I can't with doctors. The doctor's trying to like stitch up his face and he's trying to punch him in the face. And she's like, oh, tell me about this. Like she gets him so mad that he's like focused on telling her
like, look, bitch,
It's like, so the doctor is able to
that would work on your husband.
It would. It would absolutely work on my husband. I'd be like, hey, why don't you tell me about all the reasons that you don't like Jay-Z? And he'd be like,
I was going to say Jay-Z.
It's his number one. Jay-Z is his number one rant.
He was going off on what the fuck is that Mel Gibson movie?
Oh, I don't even know. Like, yes, his favorite pastime is just to go troll things. I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, his favorite rant is the Jay-Z rant. So essentially she gets him on the Jay-Z rant.
Yeah.
And the doctors are able to do everything. And by this time, Worthy is like hundo P in her corner. He's yes, this bitch.
She's just one of those women. And I mean, we see these women a lot in these books, but I mean, like, I get it. I'm thinking about like the Julie Garwood, The Bride.
Yeah.
She makes friends everywhere she goes because like, not of anything she does, but because she's just likable. She's just like, an honest person who is legitimately, she's like she has not read How to Win Friends and Influence People, but she is legitimately interested in you.
And she treats everybody with respect.
Yeah.
So, and
I mean, who isn't like in love with somebody who really wants to know about your work and what you do? Obviously I'm the busboy and you are acting like I'm the most important person in this place. Yeah, I love you.
Exactly. So, she ends the night with Worthy sending, he gets her back home or gets her to her, like the escort. She's from Greenwood Corners and she's in London.
She's staying with family, friends or cousins or whatever,
The next day she wakes up and there is the fanciest ass fucking car. Like basically a Lambo. Lamborghini.
She wasn't ruined before, she's ruined now.
Like this thing is like basically just, it makes the Queen's carriage look sedate. Yeah. I'm sure that thing
Courtney is like dripping over this thing because it is the most gilded, like the most mirrored, the most
oh my God.
hollow fingernail.
Essentially a disco ball went to pick this bitch up. And, the woman that she's staying with is like, what is this? And she's like, oh, it's for me. It's fine.
It's fine. It's for research. And then she gets in this character and goes away.
Yeah.
She goes, yeah, this is the kind of book this is.
And so she's like roaming around the gambling house. She's talking to everybody. She finds out that this particular one has in-house sex workers. And she's like, well, I'm sure they're not paid well. I'm sure they're not and they're like, well, no, they like at this one, it's very explicit that they're able to make their own hours. They keep 100% of the profit, that essentially they're there to help make
more money.
Yeah.
Because you don't want these motherfuckers leaving.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing that she understood about scruples. Spider and Valentine understood about scruples, that if they leave, you've lost them. So you got to keep them there. It's like taking all the clocks out. So in other words, like she's legitimately concerned that they're being trafficked.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to Bodice Tipplers, the only podcast where we only record half of the whole ass podcast that we recorded and have to go back and redo it. But you know what? It's fine. We've all taken an emotional lap. Courtney has dug into a box of wine and gotten the bladder out. So we are going to endeavor to bring you the rest of Lisa Kleypas is Dreaming of You and not make it a Joanna Lindsay situation.
Oh yeah, because that's happened twice now. So yeah, Courtney has the bag and she's stripping it like an udder.
You know what? I'm an environmentalist. Like,
no, you just some Fort Mill piece of trash is what you is.
Oh, you gonna get all the people at Fort Mill on you now.
Oh, okay. Bring them on. I'll meet them down at the Waffle House. We'll see. Fucking see. You know what? I grew up outside of Eastover.
We don't have a Waffle House in Fort Mill.
How you living?
Because we're not trash. We go to Charlotte or we go to Rock.
You had to go to Charlotte to go to the Waffle House?
I love that you are like acting like the Waffle House is the barometer for class.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay. All right. Well, that's why you don't record half a podcast.
I was in charge of that.
Yes. Anyway, so yes, we've had a little bit of a derailment, but you know what? It's going to be great. It's going to work out. We're going to be optimists in this whole situation.
Yeah.
So where we last left off, from what we can remember, is we were talking about the highly empowered sex workers that Derek Craven had working for him. Not only were they able to make their own hours, they were also able to keep 100% of their wages, which
probably had a great healthcare plan too.
Oh, I'm sure that man is all about dental. Mm-hmm. So Sarah was very impressed by this. And all of the sex workers and everybody who worked in the gaming hell were impressed by Sarah because you know what? She wasn't a snobby bitch like some people talking about Waffle Houses.
I'm sorry, you think you're too good for the fucking Waffle House.
Girl, I played 1,955 ways to serve Waffle House hash browns at the Waffle House in Rock Hill all the time. The Waffle House jukebox and their jams were legit. So
waffle do up.
So yeah, I went to a different town to do it.
Oh, that's what the classy bitches do. Okay, yeah. So Sarah is investigating this gambling hell, and she's making friends everywhere around there in the kitchens, among the footmen, all this shit.
The fancy French chef loves her. Everyone loves her
because she's genuinely interested in other people.
Yeah,
she also meets Lily, who is Derek's legit like female friend. Like actually, and you can tell, of course, Lily has the halo around her that suggests that she is obviously book one's person.
Yes, she was from the first book in this series, and her nickname was like
Lawless Lily.
Lawless Lily. And we find out later that Lily had a child out of wedlock.
Yeah.
And people thought that it was Derek's, but they never had any kind of like, even in her book, they were just. So we have Lawless Lily, and her, she is Derek's platonic best friend. It's really sweet. They have a great relationship.
But then she also has an immediate new friendship with Sarah, which is also kind of great. So Sarah is like learning all about the gambling hell. She's got her little notebook that she made out of folded over paper and shit. And she's also investigating like Derek's finances and shit, and noticing that like, oh, he actually gives a lot of money to charity, like that sort of thing. And all the while, she feels like she's being followed. She's in fact,
eyes on her. There's all eyes on me.
Yeah,
where they coming from?
Is like some Scooby-Doo portrait eye shit from Derek Craven, who also has like this giant art collection, whatever. So he can't keep his hands off.
So wait, does he buy the art just to like poke the eyeballs?
Yeah, like when he's at auction, he's like, well, not that one because it's a side profile.
I need 2 eyeballs so I can poke those out. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and so she's all like, oh, there's going to be a ball and all this. And he's like, yeah, okay, there's going to be a ball, but you can come, but you have to watch.
Yeah, it's more like a fancy person. It's an eyes wide shut style sex party.
Yeah. And so he's like, okay, yeah, it's dangerous for you, okay? You have to watch the musicians gallery. And I'm being nice to invite you to do that. And she's like, I want to be there.
They have like all these super flirtatious things. She asked him to kiss her because her fiance, she has a fiance back in Greenwood Corners who is just, his name is Perry, but it doesn't matter. His name is Milquetoast. He is.
Or Mr. Collins.
Yes, he is so drab. And They kiss. Eventually, it's super hot, but he's like, no, 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 no. He pushes her away.
I cannot poison you with my abjection. And so, like, she's like, I'm going to get this party. So she goes to Lily, and she's like, I want to go to this fucking party. How do I go to this party? And Lily's like, I gotcha, girl.
Yeah.
And they go, there's a makeover.
Makeover time.
I do love a makeover.
She gets to wear, like, a really super cute, like...
It's Lily's dress, which doesn't make any sense, because Lily is, like, straight up and down, like, very much of the fashion of the time.
You know what? I appreciate the sentiment, though, that it wasn't all about body fixation.
Oh, no, it wasn't. I just don't buy that this woman can fit into Lily's dresses.
So she gets a really pretty blue dress. She gets to wear her hair down, because usually it's, like, in the little, like, Mrs. like, whatever, just boring...
Well, it's under a cap because she's a proper lady, and then it's all up. So, you know, it's this whole thing. And then also, she's going to wear, because it's a costume ball, a little tiny itty bitty, the Robin Domino mask.
Yes.
It's going to be one of those stupid superhero things where nobody recognizes her.
Well, if you, like, I don't know who you are without your glasses on, so, you know.
I know. And I mean, like, we were talking about eye color before, you know.
Yeah.
There's that whole thing. But, I mean, at the same time, like, if Derek Craven is that obsessed with her, you'd think that he would notice.
You would think, but
so she gets there, and everybody thinks that she's Matilda.
Also, everybody, you know, to be fair, I'm sure everybody is on hella lots of opium at this party. Like, everybody's fucked up. So she comes to the party. Everybody's on opium. They're like, oh, it's Matilda. Oh, there she is.
And she's drinking this punch, and she thinks it's like the punch at the party she's been to. So maybe it's like a bit alcoholic, but it turns out it is like, whoa. It's like that college jungle juice that they're drinking out of that trash can.
Yeah. She's drinking. Oh, have you heard, like, I think it's really interesting, and, like, Gen Z is stupid in a lot of ways, but they're amazing in others. So, like, the Bork. Have you heard about the Bork? All right, so the Bork, you know, when we used to go to college... When we used to go to college parties, it was the jungle juice in a trash can or in a cooler. Now the Bork is their personal, like, they take a gallon jug and they empty out half of the water, and then they put vodka. Then they put, like, liquid IV and flavor stuff in it. But think about it. Yeah, make a face. It's fine. But they're controlling their own situation.
Well, what do you do with a gallon jug, though? I don't understand.
You just drink out of it.
That's your personal drink? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So you know that you have drunk a certain amount of it. Okay, well, okay, yeah.
Isn't that genius? Like, I mean, yeah, it's half water. And then they put liquid IV and, like, all that powdered, like, rehydration stuff in.
Well, that's stupid. I mean, you can just drink water, but
no, but it's half water, and then it adds more hydration.
You know how much booze you're actually drinking over the. You're not like it's not like okay.
And nobody's leaving the.
If you come to my mom's boomer parties,
or she tries to kill you,
no, it's not her. It's her bartender, because like your glass of wine just gets refilled behind your back. So you don't know how much you've drunk.
That man is trying to kill all of you rich white people.
Yes.
It's what happened. So anyway, they didn't have the Borks at this party. They were all just drinking the jungle juice.
What's it called that?
It stands for... Hold on. It's something like blackout rage. Blackout rage something.
People are laughing at us, like young people. They don't like any young people.
No, it is blackout rage. I can't remember what the G is. But yeah, anyway. So... They were not doing that. They were all drinking the punch.
Bad choice.
And our girl got super drunk, and she was like, "Woo, having a good time."
But she was rolling them bones at the table.
She was like the belle of the, like, sex ball.
Yeah. And Derek Craven is like,
he's like, "Hey girl,
I gotta fuck you." And so he takes her back to one of those fuck rooms. And he gets her, like, top down, bottom up. Like, he is in them.
And then he takes the glasses off. And he's like, "Surprise!" Or the mask off. He's like, "I knew it was you." No, you didn't.
You did not. You dirty. And so he stops. Oh, and then also at the same time, what's his name? Worthy pops in like, "Hey, excuse me, sir, but Ivo, what's his name?
Jenner,
trying to burn down your club again." And he's like, "Oh, God damn it."
He just called the cops this time.
Oh,
he's a little practical joker.
He did try to burn it down last time.
The kitchen. In an 80s sex comedy, he is like the stupid little foil that just wants to be part of it.
So, like Derek runs out. We will talk about this later, young lady. And she's like, "Oh, my God.
I'm leaving." And so she leaves with Ivo Jenner.
Yeah, like, because there's always secret passageway. So they pop out of a secret passageway. And so Ivo Jenner is like, you think like, oh shit, oh god, he's gonna get raped or something.
He's gonna sex menace her.
He's fine. He's just stupid.
This man is horny for one thing, and he is horny for bras. And so a brawl starts happening while they're in the
Because
country.
it's going to be a public execution, you know?
Oh, it got canceled. It's like if somebody canceled the pay-per-view Octagon fight. So he's like, oh, there's a brawl going on. He's like, my dick has to go be part of it. Gotta go jump on dudes. Bye. And he leaves her.
Yeah, so he's just like dumb. I mean,
Yeah.
he does not hurt her. He is completely safe. It's just that he does not keep her safe.
The only thing that he is attracted to is dudes pounding.
Also, he also probably heard that she killed another guy in cold blood.
She straight up, like, again, page 5, y'all.
So he's probably like, well, obviously you can take care of yourself,
like,
ma'am.
Yeah. And so, you know, she's run around and like she legit gets sex menaced by like the Duke lacrosse team. They're there.
Yeah.
It's very much what it is.
You
like,
know, that turned out to be.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's like some Ponzi dudes who are
yeah. So it's not like, you know, she's been told to be worrying about these, like, know, impoverished people, but really it's her own social class.
Really, it's the rich people.
Yeah, it's the rich. You know, every time, man.
Prince Philip. It's like, hey, get on this jet. Let's do some stuff. And then Derek Craven just shows up on a horse like, yeah, you know, and like saves her. So.
And so that's when he tells her.
But it's like he's not even, like, his saving is like.
He's so mad about it.
Yeah. And he tells her his tragic backstory to you.
Okay, you ready?
Copyright Sarah's favorite thing ever.
Oh my God, are you ready for? Okay, so obviously Lisa Kleypas is like, okay, so he has to be so sad, so sad. I mean, more than Oliver Twist. All right. Okay, more than like Great Expectations. More. Okay, what's the saddest thing we can think of? Okay, first of all, he was born to who knows what in a drain pipe, and we're all like, what do you mean in a drain? Like, did she like slip and just like? I mean, so.
This is where I'm going to interject because this story is worth repeating. So you all missed because Sarah didn't push fucking record. When I pictured this drain pipe.
You mean your abject childhood?
When I pictured this drain pipe, what I picture is one of those like covered like water park tubes. And back when I was in high school, my first year, I worked at Carowinds. Carowinds is up near Charlotte, and it's a big amusement park. And now it's super corporate and fancy, but it used to not be. It used to have Smurf Island and insane things. So my first year, I sold lemon quench. I sold frozen lemonade. My second year, I graduated to being a junior lifeguard. Now, the pool, you had the big wave pool where I did have to go, like when I became a full lifeguard, have to check to see if there was a dead body in there. But my first year, I was a junior lifeguard, so that meant I worked at the kiddie pool. The kiddie pool was like 4 feet, you know, max, so I'd have to stand there. And there was a little slide up at the top, and you'd have to help kids down the slide. And then if you're working at the bottom, you'd have to help kids like off the slide. But the slide was one of those covered gutter drain pipe situations, you know. And let me tell you, little round kids, little round boys especially, who were shirtless, like, and covered in sunscreen, which is essentially like lube, and Cheeto dust, come out of that tube at approximately 50 miles an hour. And they come out feet first, and their feet hit you in the torso. Now, this is back when college Courtney was much, you know. I was about 100, you know, whatever, $140. And I've got a kid that's like 120 pounds climbing on me. And they knock you in the torso. You'd fall down. Then they koala grab you. So you'd have to like lift essentially your body weight to get back up in the 4 feet water, like, and stand up and then move them along. So that is what I imagine That is what I imagine Derek Craven coming out of, is at 45 miles an hour in a gutter tube, like put you and covered in amniotic fluid and Cheetos dust. That is a 100% historical accuracy.
I picture it like a baby body, but like a Mr. Rochester head.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I had 15 of those Rochester babies coming out at me. Pew, pew. Like nothing hurt as much as like a slightly chubby kid's like heel to your stomach. Like, oh God.
So that's Derek Craven's origin story, and it only goes downhill.
Yes, we haven't even gotten to the worst
my
part.
God. So nameless baby so the other sex workers, they don't know who his mother is or his father is, but they take him as like a fucking mascot.
We need a mascot. This is the one to do it.
He's a little scamper around
like
her.
a pink lady. He's a little pink lady. He's got the jacket. Rizzo is watching him.
But he's like, picking pockets and shit. And then he gets graduated into the chimney sweep kind of job. And that's terrible. And Lisa Kleypas is like, okay. We have to make this guy, like, he has to come from nothing. He has to be so abject and sad and Victorian. Oh, wait. No, it's not Victorian. Okay, it's Regency. But come on, in your brain, it's Victorian. Chimney sweep. Okay, that's real bad. And like he gets stuck in the thing and they like light everything on fire to let him out. Okay, that's good. How can we make it more sad? Oh, he was a resurrection man. He was a body snatcher. And I'm like, I'm just cracking up, dying laughing. I am texting people I know. You're like, you would not believe. Oh my God.
And see, for me, it does not. I feel like at least she made the attempt to like.
She read a thing in a book one time.
I disagree. I think that what she tries to do in so many of these books prior to this, there's this romanticism to poverty. And I think she is trying to illustrate, maybe not the best way, but like illustrate that people would do whatever they could to survive. And I appreciate that. Like,
I just think that Burke and Hare were smarter and they realized that digging is hard work, but murdering is not.
Right. But I mean, again, and I think what I liked about it was like he just felt so bad about it, like what he did to these families and stuff. I don't know. Again, I liked that she was trying to talk about real things that happened. Maybe not in the most. I mean, it's a legit thing. Like,
it's first.
In the burgeoning medical like profession that couldn't keep up with it, it's a legit thing.
People did that for sure. But I mean, and I do appreciate that Sarah was like, okay, yeah, that's real bad, but yeah, whatever. I still want to get on your dick.
No, I mean, but also like I think, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, she did that, but I also think like she is great in that she realizes like. I like that she's not a lady. I like that she's not, that she realizes that people have to do what they have to do.
Yeah. Like Sarah is, and, honestly, probably, like, inconceivably so.
Yeah.
Like, understanding about this whole Burke and Hare.
Yeah, but I mean, I think she also, like, realizes, like, this is a kid that, again, shot out of the...
And, of course, she sees the baby.
She gets shot out of the birth... he got shot out of the birth tube. She sees, like, but I mean...
She sees the baby in him.
But isn't that what we want people to see?
No, it is. It's absolutely. No. It's sweet.
Isn't that what we not want to see is like to see that people are more than like what they were born into and like have to see?
Absolutely. It's just that like she's so accepting of it.
I mean,
yeah. Like she's like.
But I do appreciate.
But then again, she's got that dick cloud. She's got like that.
Yeah, but like at the same time, most of these books that we have read, either somebody is rich or a pirate that just straight up murders people, and like. Yeah, this dude dug up some bodies. Like, I don't know how is it more.
They weren't using him anymore, right?
How was it more far fetched than like, some of the other insane things?
Oh, absolutely not. No, I just like it's just to me it was so funny that she was trying to construct the most sad childhood that she could have come up with. But then he's like, okay, so you understand that about me, right? So you don't want me anymore. And she's like, I kind of do want to fuck you. And he's like, no, okay, I'm sorry, you have to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have studied my gaming hell. You have gotten yourself into trouble that I got you out of, that I partly got you into, and your soft folds and all that stuff. But you have to go home to Perry back in
Greenwood Corners. Sarah will never write Greenwood Corners.
And she's like, fine, all right.
I will. And so she does.
Home, and she's like, okay, all right. Now I want to go and talk to Perry and we're going to get married because what I have learned from the city is that I had to take more agency in my life. And so she tries to do that. And then Perry's such a sad
I think this like it's interesting because this might be the book that has like the longest time. One of the longest times where people are like not with each other and like doing their own thing. So like she's by herself.
Wow. Yeah.
She's trying to like make it work with Perry. Perry's got a mean mom that is like just constantly berating her.
It's just awful because I mean like it is legit upsetting. It's the kind of thing that is not so over the top. It's realistic.
Yeah,
So
she's like so just.
you can imagine like that "Am I the asshole?" Like or just no MIL like that thread on Reddit. Like girl, no, because I mean, of course, the answer to all those things is that you are not responsible and cannot be responsible for his mother. He has to deal with his mother. You deal with your mom, your dad. He deals with his mom, his dad. And if he cannot do that or will not do that, this marriage will not work.
Yeah. And like she's trying to like recapture some of the passion she felt for Derek. And like Perry's like, what are you doing? What's going on? What's happening?
Why are you trying to grab my dick?
Yeah. And she's like, what happened? And he's like, no. So they finally come to this mutual, they get engaged. And all they keep talking about is all the nice times they had in the past. And finally they have like a come to Jesus. And he's like, well, thank God when we're married, you're not going to do this kind of stuff. And,
you're not going to write anymore.
And she's like, well, we're not going to get married then. And then,
Yeah, and he's like, he finally realizes, and she says, no, I want to write, and I'm not going to stop writing when I get married. And your mother is terrible, and you will not do anything about her, so we are not getting married. And then, like, so he suddenly realizes, like, oh, whoa. But
but he's also like, you're such a harridan. Why are you trying to make out with me?
And her parents are actually very supportive of this.
Her parents are amazing. So meanwhile, all our dude is doing back in London is getting drunk and banging people that look vaguely like Sarah.
Yeah, and so there's a bit, somebody on Goodreads was upset by this, and I understand why they were. I'm not saying they shouldn't have been upset by this. I mean, I wasn't upset by this, but I do get why this is not healthy behavior. Like
nothing in this book is healthy behavior.
But so one of the sex workers that she got to know pretty well at Craven's comes to visit her in Green Acres, and
Greenwood Corner,
Green Acres. It's the place to be. And she's like, oh, hi, how are you? Because this woman is dressed like very, respectably and all.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I'm going to see my mom. I go to see her all the time because I have all this generous time off, like from Craven Inc. And she thinks I like work at the airport, But like, I just want to let you know, okay? So somebody should tell you, you know how I look a lot like you? And she's like, yeah, I know how you look a lot like me. Well, yeah, like Derek has been like fucking me and calling me your name. So I just want you to know that he's totally in love with you.
Yeah.
So I mean, okay, weird way to put that out.
I don't. It in the grand scheme of weird
fine
things
with
that
it, but I get why people would be upset.
And so she goes back to. Well, she gets invited. Lily invites her to like a
one of those weekend things, parties.
And so like she goes, and her and Derek are making.
Big eyes
at each other. And
but Joyce is there.
Yeah, the ex-paramour, and she's unhinged and crazy. So her obvious, like, this is, I admire Joyce's insane escalation. Because what do you do when you see the guy that you like making eyes at somebody? You obviously hire some old fat man to go and assault her.
Yeah.
That is foolproof.
You tell somebody, I will fuck you if you rape her.
Yeah.
Like, that is step one. That's not even like, you don't even like send a note. Like, that's not step one. Step one is hire a rapist.
Yes. And so, Sarah is sort of almost not even really kind of like vaguely assaulted, but of course Derek is there and jumps in.
So it's not a big deal. I mean, like,
not even a big deal.
It's a big deal in the fact that somebody tried to rape somebody, but it's not a big deal in nothing happens to Sarah. But what happens to Sarah is that her reputation is ruined because Derek is there and she's naked, and you know.
And so Derek is like, I'm going to make a list of the most eligible batches, and you can pick whichever one you want to marry.
Because Derek has all of their gambling debts. Like, he can make anybody marry her that he wants to. And it's actually really sweet.
Yeah.
Because he's like, okay. So obviously I took off the ones that are just pains in the ass. Like, not nice people.
Yeah.
They've been, so these are the guys who I think we should really look at hard. And he like goes through them. He's like, okay, so this guy, he's a little silly, but he's a nice dude. I mean, he's only picked like the...
She is very, like, it's really cute because, like, she's like, well, is he going to make me stop writing? Is he going to make me, he's like, well, I'll keep him from doing anything,
I want to marry you. Why can't I just marry you? And he's like, well, what about this?
She finally browbeats him down to it. Like, she finally.
You ruined me. You're going to marry
me. How are her levels? Are we actually recording?
Yeah. Okay. I swear to God, we are.
So, he's like, fine. I'm going to marry you. No, marry you. We're going to do it right now. Go into Greenwood Corners and I'm going to talk to your parents and I'm going to tell them.
Yeah, I'm going to ask your father's hand in marriage, God damn it.
Yeah, he's like, I'll show you. And so they go to Greenwood Corners, and, he talks to the dad. Perry shows up, and he's like, we're still engaged. And the Derek's like, the hell you are. It's very cute.
Their wedding. Fair, he does not actually have Perry's gambling debt. So there's one point for Perry. It's
very cute. Like, they get married, and we actually have some of their, like, married life. They're fancy, all about town. Yeah. She's wearing cool dresses, redecorating the gambling house.
And, they get a house because, like, she doesn't want to live in any of his other houses. And,
he has a chateau.
And they're, like, legit happy. They're very happy.
Yes.
So something's coming.
Yeah. I was like, we still have 50 pages. Let's go on. What happens is, like, Joyce just shows up all crazy face.
With a gun.
Crazy face with a gun.
Which is funny because I guess Joyce didn't know what happened at the beginning of this book because Joyce would not have pulled that shit. Yeah.
Joyce is like, I love him. And, Sarah's like, shut up. I'm tired of you. You're so boring. You're so basic. And she's like, I'll show you basic. And she takes like an oil lamp and throws it, and like everything engulfs in flames. And I was like, heavy wool would not just woof. But anyway, it doesn't matter about the fibers, but natural fibers are not going to just woof. But so she's like, you're coming with me. And so, of course,
they go, of course, through the secret tunnel. So nobody sees anybody. Like, everybody thinks that Sarah's dead in the fire.
But so,
and of course, Derek Craven, you have to understand, has to be held back by people. God, and then he's like clawing its way through the burning debris. Yeah. Just imagine him doing that on repeat until we come back to him.
Yeah. So he's boring. So what we get to is Sarah's in a carriage with this bitch Joyce, and Joyce is like, I'm gonna put you in a tower, and I'm gonna do maybe weird lesbian sex stuff to you. And you know what?
It's not clear. It's really not clear.
Like, oh my God, I'm so tired of you. God, go away. So they get to whatever weird sex tower that she has, and Sarah hurls her ass. Like, she throws her
butt. She gets that tackle record. That
she does. Like, she just defense lineman, like, tackles. Sarah is sturdy and Joyce is not, because she's all frail and
she doesn't have that country.
She's got those bitchy hollow bones.
Yeah.
And so, like, Sarah tackles her down the stairs, they like wrestling the gun, and proceeds to shoot Joyce. Like, but it's like not a kill shot.
Yeah, this time.
Like, Sarah was aiming for the kill. Yeah. And so she shoots Joyce in the shoulder, and Joyce immediately bitches out. She's like, yeah, you gotta hit my shoulder. You gotta help me. And Sarah's like, I should leave you to die. I was like, you should absolutely leave her to die.
It's gonna continue to be a problem.
She's like, fine. And so, like, she shoves her in the carriage and takes her to
her husband,
Joyce's house. He's
okay,
like,
and we should say that Joyce's evil has come by kind of fair. She got, like, essentially sold in marriage when she was 15 to this absolute asshole old guy. And so, like, she's
basically a Leonardo DiCaprio bride. Yeah. But imagine the dude not looking like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Honestly, I don't see the appeal of Leonardo DiCaprio these days anyway.
It's like, it's just like melty old man. But, like, she's she is a teenager. She should be watching stupid TV and annoying the fuck out of me.
Because, like, what happens is kind of awful that, like, Sarah's like, what are you fucking gonna do about this? This is a problem. This has been a problem.
I mean, she is a problem.
Yeah, she is a problem.
And he's like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna send her to Scotland. And I was like, well, you know what? Good. Maybe she'll find a sturdy farmhand.
Yeah, but, like, I'm gonna send her to an asylum in Scotland. As in other words, like,
he said he has an estate.
And she's gonna be locked up. But I mean, the thing is, like, he's like, yeah, it's been a problem, but it hasn't really affected me yet.
He's like, it's been funny.
Like, but you know what? Like, she cut him up.
I love that. And she's like, well, you know what? She cut Derek up, and he did. He's like, well, he kind of had it coming, and I mean, maybe he did.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So he's sending her to his, like, remote estate, where I think what's going to happen is she's going to find a burly farmhand, and she will be just fine.
Okay, I hope so, because it's grim otherwise. No. It's really grim.
What estate? What is, like? There's no asylums. There's just
a lot of land and some sheep herders, and she is fine. She is going to find some burly. She's going to come back and get you in like 30 years. You're going to turn around. There she's going to be in that alley.
Well, you know what? That would be amazing follow-up to this book.
Yeah, I know. I would read that book. I would read the shit out of that.
She'll still not be able to, like, stab anybody. Right?
No. She'll be bad.
So Sarah's like, fine. And he's like, well, we're going to get your husband involved in this. And she's like, no, you will not. I am HBIC. I'm on it. You're not doing anything. She's like, what you're going to do is send this bee up to Scotland. You're going to get me a carriage and take me back to London. He's like, okay. So she's like, she goes,
I guess I go to Craven's, right? Because I don't know where else to go.
Yeah.
And of course, it's like the at the end of Jane Eyre, except that he's not blind. He's just like wandering around in the ruins. So where we left him, like I told you, keep a pin in that.
He's like, oh. And she's like, hey, boo, what's been going on? He's like, don't leave me. This is a dream. She's like, nah, man, I'm not dead. I'm fine. And he's like, oh, okay. She's like, so what do we do? You want to rebuild this? He's like, no, I'm good. This is nice.
Let's build a hospital for orphans and shit. And he's like, okay.
Yeah. So,
and then they lived happily ever after. And there's an epilogue with a baby.
The end.
The end.
So, this has been our rendition of Dreaming of You. Like the fourth one of Dreaming of You.
Oh, my God.
Lisa Kleypas. So we do have questions. So,
oh, my goodness.
The biggest dick energy is that audio file that we're going to have to put in this of me going, ah. So that's what that is.
Yeah, we had some stuff happen. No, honestly, the biggest dick energy in this is Worthy.
Oh my God.
It's like the man.
I want him to have his own book. He was so great.
Yeah, I want all those guys, like essentially the Jeeves, the man who just makes shit happen and you just like tell him to.
Okay. I can say, like, if I had been, I was not, because I did not read this until my 20s. Mm-hmm. Maybe even my 30s. I don't know. Had I read this at like 14? Yes.
I wish I had read this instead of all the things I did read.
I know. Like, I get all you people who are like, Derek Craven would never. But, like, honestly, for me, Derek Craven would never set me on fire. He is fine.
That's because he's not bad enough.
No, he doesn't have the bite to him.
No, because he's really a secret big old softy.
He is, I think, maybe one of our first, like, beta males.
He's gooey.
All y'all who are like, oh, he's alpha out. No, he's not.
No.
She is always the one saving him.
Mm-hmm. He's the Ned Nickerson of this book.
And I appreciate him. Like, he's
putting on, he's got the costume. He's wearing a Halloween costume.
He's Logan, and he likes Marianne, and that's great. And we love that for him. But this is a pussycat. And
that's not Edward Rochester.
No, but you know what? That motherfucker is a psychopath who
I know, but
locked a whole ass woman up in the attic.
That is true. Yes, but
basically you're rooting for the male version of the mom in Flowers in the Attic.
Okay, I'm just saying that he makes me feel funny in my downstairs apartment.
Yes, that is fine. But like, I felt like Derek Craven was just. I mean, he
gives you health insurance.
He does. I mean, we love that. He's Bernie Sanders.
No, he's great. He's wonderful.
He's a socialist. But he wants equal treatment for all. He wants the chimney sweeps not to be burned alive.
Political, yeah.
Yes, I mean that is we love it. But he is not a bad boy.
No, he's literally wearing a bad boy costume.
He's kind of like when Jason Priestley on 90210 would put on like the leather jacket and like when he was like sort of an alcoholic and drove Mondale into like the stop sign. Like that's as bad as he gets is Priestley driving Mondale into the stop sign.
He's just a cuddly little puppy.
Like he wants to be Dylan, but he's just
You ever see a little puppy try to act like a badass and you're like, oh look at you. Yes. Oh my goodness. Look. You wanna we just wake up puppy. Oh my gosh.
I mean, he might even venture into Brian Austin Green character. He might even be David.
No, that's not hot. There's no hot.
You know what? That was the best couple, though.
But that's where hotness is going to die.
His unfailing obsession with Donna was, but he is Brandon with his baby alcoholism driving Mondale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I can't really get behind
you know what? That kind of works because then Lily is Brenda.
Okay.
It all works out. Anyway.
Yeah, I do. And Lily's great. So would you talk shit with her about the heroine?
She's fantastic.
I like her, yes.
And I think it goes into, again, this weird shift that we see that like where she is doing most of the action. She is most of the plot point. She is affecting change in the story.
She has to fix him, but not in a fix him kind of way.
No, but like also like she is not. I think what's interesting about it is that she is directing the narrative, and the narrative she's not reacting to it. She's making things,
and
happen.
She's not like it's not like he changes to be worthy of her purity, which happens a lot in these older books. Like it's like she convinces him like no, I can roll with this shit.
It's two people that like are. It's like a real relationship that they have give and take, and they're actually making compromises. And
I agree. Yeah, no, she's great. Bad-Boys-a-thon is interesting because it almost feels like there's a vestigial organism in this. Like there's like how whales have hips.
Yeah.
And the hip is Joyce. Because it's got like this great Bechdel business with Lily. Like there's a genuine male-female friendship in this, who's also a good friend with Sarah. But then there's a other hair-colored psycho bitch. And that's not, that feels out of place here.
Yeah, but I do appreciate that they try to like give you her story at least, that she's not just crazy because she's blonde.
Yeah. Or because he broke up with her. That happens a lot, you know? No, she like, she's legit, like, she says, like, I got sold to this old ass bag of balls.
Yes.
And I had to live like this.
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Like, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that could have been handled better. But again, it's wild that this is a book that I'm judging on like 2004 standards that was written 10 years before.
Yeah. This is very much ahead of its time. And when it comes to consent, is this book more Robin Thicke or Marvin Gaye?
Mine is the weird half braid.
Which isn't even a thing.
Yeah, this book is so consent. Like
and I mean, I think she didn't know how to get them married.
I mean, almost like it is kind of clever in a way because like. You know, Sarah is like false pretensing him. Like, I got on my Superman outfit. You can't tell I'm not Clark Kent. Boop, boop, boop.
So honestly, that's not entirely above board of her.
No, but
because she wants to get kissed by him, but she doesn't understand that she's like, kiss me down here.
It's also really interesting to see how her relationship with him affects her relationship with Harry. Not in like a gross, like whatever way, but like she's like, hey, I want more. I want things that a 25-year-old woman should want.
Yeah, and like it's not a 16-year-old girl. Yeah.
And it's not wrong to want those things. Mm-hmm. So I think like it's really.
Because she's not like trying to get his dick out. She's just trying to get she is trying to get him to kiss her, but actually she's trying to get him to be emotionally honest with her and have like a real conversation with her.
And even like, and in her relation, like the sex workers in this are sex workers that have autonomy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. They're utterly ahistorical in a good way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, like thumbs up on that. How badly are you judging your mom off for reading this book?
I would be delighted if she had read that.
Oh, yeah.
And I think she would have enjoyed this. She liked a sassy lady, so this would have been one of hers.
A sassy lady. Would Scarlett Johansson be in the movie?
So obviously this is a Regency book in England, so we have like white people.
You know, I have read plenty of Regency things with people of color, so this is actually all on her.
I think yes, but have you like from 1994?
Not from 1994.
Right, that's what I'm. Yeah, like so obviously we are doing much better with this, but I think what is interesting in this is like there's like a weird line at the like. In sex menacing that Joyce is doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I'm like, could this
is she trying to pull a lesbian lesbian menace?
Is it which could also be conversely like really interesting because whenever we have an evil gay, it's always obviously.
Dude, yeah. I don't think we've ever had it. Have we had an evil lesbian? Well, we've had evil weird schoolgirl lesbians in Sydney Sheldon.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's kind of interesting, but I mean, obviously these books have. Now I will say. Lisa, I haven't read like, you know, she deals with characters in her later books that are like Romani descent and stuff and like really kind of goes into that. But I mean, this is a very white book. So
yeah. Probably there's not enough breadth here to really, you know,
right.
It's an early book of this kind. You're not leaving the house looking like that. There's some bibulous outfits that are fun. I also like her regular outfit.
Her like little
governessy outfits. Her little.
I think like what's interesting is you can kind of feel like this book is like a little love letter that maybe Lisa has to her favorite aspects of, you know, Jane Austen is that when you first see Sarah, she's very much dressed like, you know, Persuasion. Like she's all stiff-necked, buttoned up, and
she's actually dressed quite appropriately for her station and her gender. She's got like her hair is covered and, you know, like it appropriately would be.
And I do like that, like
neither trying to mess with it.
Neither one of them, they're ton adjacent, but neither one of them are like aristocracy.
No, they're not. They're both. It's not. I would like to read some that are just like literally regular,
like a fishmonger, just a fishmonger fishing. doing his
like
thing.
a fishmonger and a lady's maid. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
like
but I thought this was,
nobody's a pirate. Nobody's
obviously he's like the most
free
insanely
trader.
wealthy person, but they're not like, he's not a duke. He's not
No, nobody's noble in this, which is it's fun. Like her
I think, Lily's husband is, but like, it's like,
yeah, and that's fun.
yeah.
But her outfits are all like, they're great, but it's mostly about her tits.
Yeah, it's all about her boobs. And like, I think what's interesting too is that her body, everybody's bodies are kind of celebrated.
Yeah, it's not like the last one where I really did hope that the sex workers were just like literally like large.
They kept talking like, and then we talk like her French modiste that she goes and sees with Lily is like heavier, but that's the way that's described is really nice. It's that her hips were her smile.
Her smile is as large as her waist.
Yeah, and like,
that's all it said. Like, in other words, you know she's a big lady.
Yeah, but she's like,
that's all. Yeah, you just know she's a big lady,
and she's not overly like jolly.
She's not like corpulent, and she's not like a fat lady who's jolly. She's just like a big lady who is fun
and killing it.
Yeah,
so,
and then like making $1 bazillion. So good for her, pounds, whatever.
It was cute, like when he like orders her the dresses, and she's like, "I'll have 6," and he's like, "She'll have 32." I was like, "This is ridiculous."
Yeah, that's the fantasy, right?
Yeah, like it was very like again like kind of cute to read. So what pairs nicely with a
no? Would your 12-year-old self have dog-eared any pages?
So
the sex in this book is interesting.
Probably at 12, I would have definitely done it, but like
it feels okay. Maybe this is just like a flaw of mine. Once you're happily married, I don't care about your sex.
Right, like that. Like once it happens,
that's it.
And I do it like this book has a lot because a lot of the book is devoted to them being married, which is interesting and cool and like a different thing.
Yeah, but I don't care about how you do it then at that point. I care about...
There's something about tension sex.
Yeah, there's no tension in that. And you know how it is in a book that the hottest sex is always...
It's like the never sex.
Yeah,
like,
they don't even have... Like, okay, sometimes they do, but usually
it's like
waist up or whatever.
Anticipation. Like yeah.
Like in the first like 40% it happens, you know? And it's all like nipple.
This one didn't, like, again, I have read many of her books, and like usually this was like for me, I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, it's fine. It's great. It's consensual. It's like all the things that you want.
Yeah. It's just it doesn't.
He goes downtown, but it's also still like meh. So it's fine.
It's fine.
So what pairs nicely with a dumpster fire?
Oh, well, like some Regency like shrub, or are we talking more like a sunscreen and Cheeto dust? I'm
going to tell you, it's the sunscreen, lube, Cheeto dust, afterbirth combo. No.
Are we going to call it a plop? Is that? A Fort Mill plop?
Maybe the gorilla or the jungle juice that they drank.
I don't know.
Where she got off like that. Fort Mill plop or jungle juice. So lastly, should a person in the 21st century read this book?
Oh yeah. It's great. It's fun. I enjoyed it. I just not having read it in my formative years, it just it feels like a lot of other stuff.
I do think that this and like the Loretta Chase book in terms of like romantic literary history are important books in that we do have this turn.
And we have had a hard time exactly describing the turn. Like, what is it that makes it feel different? So I would really like some of y'all's input on, because we've read other books from exactly this time period that felt like throwbacks. So, like, what is it? Why is this a modern book and Sweet Liar is holy shit not?
Right. And I think, I do think that this, I mean, again, I think this is an important book. I think that is, held up. This is the same age as, like, roughly Green Day's Doogie. And, like, it holds up pretty well.
Co-workers who are the same age as this book, probably, if I were to, like, look at people's records.
Yeah. So I think it's held up. Like, it reads contemporary. And I think it is important and it's interesting to see. And I enjoyed it. So.
Yeah. I'm glad I read it. I'm too old to imprint on Derek Craven, I think. Yeah.
What would Derek Craven do? It's not Courtney, because like she is dealing with super problematic faves. So, so this has been our version, or this has been our take on Lisa Kleypas's Dreaming of You. You can find us on Twitter at BTipplers. You can find us on Facebook at Bodice Tipplers. You can find us at bodicetipplers.com. We're on Instagram at Bodice Tipplers. And if you want to give us a couple bucks, which we appreciate, is patreon.com/Bodice Tipplers.
Bodice Tipplers is part of the Frolic Network. Find more podcasts you'll love at frolic.media/podcasts.